Welcome to this screen tutorial on discussing how to format a modified block letter. And again, modified means simply to change. So we're changing something about the block letter and its formatting. So the first thing we want to do is open up the previously created block letter that we used. We're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're just going to show you how to format one of the letters you already have. So what we're going to do is go up to the Office button. We're going to select Open. And let's go into your My Documents, find your class folder. Find the correct folder for your project, and you're looking for your block letter. So let's go ahead and open that. Now, before we change anything, we always want to make sure that we have a copy of the block letter. So we're going to just first save this as something else. And you see the keyword there, Save As. We're saving this as something else. So we're going to go up to the Office button and select Save As. Click on Save As, and now we're back to where the original file would be. So what do we want to add into this to show or to indicate to us what kind of letter it is? Well, we want to change the file name. This is going to be a modified block letter. So I'm going to type in modified in all caps. Modified block letter. You can see there how modified is spelled. Then select Save. Now we know we have a block letter copy and a modified block letter copy, so we have one of each. The next thing we want to do is to go over what gets modified. Well, let's look at the information here. The date obviously indicates to the person what date the letter is sent. If they're receiving it in the mail, it's usually indicated that that letter had been written a couple days or even a couple weeks prior to that point. The date doesn't matter as much as the inside address. Why is that? Well, the first thing someone sees or should see is who it's from, which is already up here, and who it's supposed to be going to. If I would open up Anthony Bauer's letter, and I also worked at Frosty's Cool Appliance Service and Repair, I would understand here that this isn't intended for me within the first couple seconds of looking at the letter. It's important that we have that information there. It's also important that not only do we have this information, but we also would know who to give this letter to. So being as detailed as possible is very important. Looking down here, this line, greeting line, is also important. Again, it is introducing ourselves to that person. Our letter body is very important. This is the crux of our information. This is our response. This is, if you have a story that you want to tell, this is the main part of your story. Then we want to close. And we have our name here. Enclosure is the next very important part next to the letter body. Right here indicates that it is from us, but they also have an idea of what company it's from with the letterhead. So we see here that the date block, our complementary closing, and our name and title block are all less important to the person getting it. Not that they're not important, but they're just less important. That's what's going to get modified in a modified block letter. So we want to select right in front of that letter, or of the date line, excuse me, and we're going to go right up here to the very top, and you're going to see here we have this little margins indicator. Okay, and we're going to select on the left indent, which is the very bottom block, the little rectangle. Click on that and drag that all the way over. So again, you want to make sure that you move your indent by that little rectangular bar right down here at the bottom. You want to drag that all the way across to 3.5 inches. You see that line there? This is 3.5. These little tick marks in between, the smaller ones, denote a smaller interval, and this right here at this one is a half. And this is something else that happens a lot. I haven't covered, but right here, these little things here are little tab indicators. And if you ever are clicking through, this is the left tab. So if I'd move a tab over here, if I would use the tab key, I could get something to tab to 2 inches. If you ever put all these on, you see how many I have on here now. If you just grab those and drag them up off the ruler, they disappear. So if you ever have that happen to you, that's how you fix that. It's a really easy thing. You just click, drag those up. They're not going to hurt anything. Alright, the next thing we need to do is come down here and change sincerely. So we're going to do the same thing, grabbing the left indent, grabbing that over 3.5 inches. Then we're going to highlight both our name and our title, drag that over right to the edge. Now we have a modified block letter. That is it. That is the only changes you really have to make. All the spacing is the same. All the other formatting is the same. So if you think it's easier, you could create your letter as a block and then just change it to modified. Again, people think the modified block letters look nicer. It kind of comes down to your personal preference, but now you know how to create those two different distinct types of business communications. Go ahead and hit Control S, and then we're going to print this out. So again, we go up to the Office button. We're going to select Print, and again, use your drop down to find the printer that corresponds for your classroom. Get your printout and keep it in your folder. You can move on to the next project. Congrats!